The last time we talked about the Kinsa thermometers, let me just remind you this is the Kinsa. It's a Bluetooth thermometer, and so it links with your smartphone or a tablet. You need to have your Bluetooth turned on for it to link to the app. So last time what we did was we downloaded the app. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from where we left off last time. So if you had your thermometer paired to your app, you may have already done some of this, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like, okay? And then we'll talk about some of the things that you can do with the Kinsa thermometer and the app. So this is the screen we left off on, okay? So this is the set up your Kinsa. You'll see that we have that one on the end there. So you're going to click on Set Up Kinsa, all right? And once you do that, it's going to say Enable Bluetooth. That's really important. So the Bluetooth on your phone is what makes this sync with your phone. So it gives you this little button to just click to enable your Bluetooth. If you need to enable your Bluetooth at another time, you need to just do it manually. Generally, if you scroll down from the top of your screen, you're going to see this little Bluetooth icon. It's that one that looks like a little bow kind of sideways. It's right next to your volume there. So you want to make sure that's on. You want to make sure that's glowing, okay, or blue or whatever. Okay, see, then it's trying to link to my stuff. We're just going to say done because it should link. So we're going to say enable Bluetooth here. All right, we've done that. Okay, and then it's going to say allow your Kinsa to find, connect to, determine the location of other devices. Go ahead and say allow. Okay, that'll just make sure that this can then connect to your smartphone or tablet. One of the things that we talked about that the Kinsa can do is show you the rate of fever or the rate of either COVID or flu in your general location. I think if you're in Manhattan right now, it's specified to Manhattan. So like it's New York County. So it's specified based on county for us. So in order for you to be included in that data, which again is never linked to your actual name or any identifying information about yourself. It's just one person has a fever or doesn't have a fever in this area. You're going to say enable location services. This will also let you see the data for your particular area. So very specifically for New York County, for Queens County, for wherever you are. So you want to enable location services. All right. And you can say while using the app, and then I put precise, you can put approximate. Either way, I think you're just going to get the county that you're in. So that's okay. All right. Then you're going to turn your thermometer on. Critical step. Okay. So you should see there's a little button at the very top of this. You want to hold it down until it turns on like that. Okay. Mine is already paired with the app. When you turn it on for the first time, it should say app right here. So it's going to do the pairing with your app. Okay. All right. So you're going to press that button and then you should see this prompt that says Kinsa thermometer found. And then it says, would you like to connect it? You just say allow. Okay. So that's going to be the step that connects this to your phone. All right. And then you're going to get the cute elephant saying congrats and you'll be connected. And you say, okay, thanks. All right, then this is a really important step. When you're setting this up, you need to go ahead and take your temperature once, okay? If you're in the building and you're around other people, you might feel more comfortable doing it under your arm. If you're at home, you'll probably end up doing it under your tongue. So what this is asking you right now is what mode you're going to use it for now, okay? It'll ask you this each time. So if you do it under your arm once and then, you wash it off and later you want to do it under your tongue, that's fine. It's going to ask you each time. But this one is just asking you for this time, okay? So there's oral mode, rectal mode if you have a baby, and then underarm mode, okay? I'm going to say oral mode just because I am here and that's what it is, okay? And so you're going to turn your thermometer on and put it under your tongue or under your arm or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step in my app and show you what happens. But you need to do this step the first time when you set it up just to make sure that it's linked, okay? Here I am in the Kinsa app. You can see on mine that I've actually taken my temperature already, all right? But I'm going to do it again this time, all right? So you can turn it on. Now that it's paired, you should see like 3 lines and it should be flashing. And look, it popped up and said, turn on your thermometer and place it under your tongue to start. I'm going to just show you how to do an underarm one, just to do one. So I'm going to say underarm for this time. Again, I can go back to oral if I want to later. So it says turn it on and put it under your armpit. So I'm putting it under my armpit. So you see it's reading my temperature, cute little elephant blowing his bubbles. And it says I'm 97.7, so I don't have a fever. So what I'm going to do with that temperature is I'm going to save it to my timeline so I can see what my temperature has been over time. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, so generally when you do it, it's supposed to it should pop up and ask you if you have any symptoms, especially if you have a fever. If you have something that's over like, 99.5, 100, something like that, it'll ask you if you have symptoms. And that's important because if you put in your symptoms, it can give you an idea of what next steps you should take. Should you call your doctor? Should you rest at home? Should you take ibuprofen? So that's one of the sort of perks about this app, is that it gives you this like advice about where you are currently. I'm just going to say that I have symptoms. I don't have symptoms, but I just want to show you like what it can tell you. Okay, so let's say you see on here there's everything from a cough to a seizure to trouble breathing to nausea to a rash. You pick as many of these as you want, because when you're sick you have more than one. So I'm going to say I have fatigue, nausea, and a sore throat. Okay, so I'm going to put save there and see, look, it's going to ask me some follow-up questions here. This is to sort of assess whether this is an emergency situation, if it's really serious. So if I had weakness in my face or my arm, they might be thinking it's a stroke and they want to, get you to call the hospital. Or these are just to rule out serious things. So I'm going to say none of the above. I don't have any of those real serious symptoms. Okay. Then my sore throat, none of those. I just have a sore throat. Okay. So what it's telling me there is it's documenting all of my symptoms. All right, it's saying, I have a 97.7 temperature. I have a sore throat, nausea, fatigue. I'm 38. It sounds like this is part of a viral infection. They're telling me to stay in this green area. So for right now, they're telling me to take care of myself at home. Okay. And so what I would do if I was sick was continue to take my temperature. And if it's going up, then this would monitor that and say, oh, you've had a fever for 3 days or 2 days. You need to talk to your doctor now. Or, if I have any increasing symptoms, they may say now's a good time to talk to your doctor, and now's a good time to take ibuprofen. And so here too, it's like you have what should I watch for? So like if my fever goes up past 101, if I have severe pain. So it's just giving me ideas of what are the sort of warning signs of a more serious illness than what I might think I have right now. Generally speaking, when you take your temperature, it'll pop and just ask you if you have any symptoms. And then C2, it's giving me tips on how to deal with the sore throat, like gargling with salt water. I looked at that before. Nausea remedies, eat bland food, ginger, I know we all like ginger. It's telling me home care. And again, it would give me advice. Again, too, this is another reason why it's really important to have your correct year of birth, even if it's not your exact birthday in here, because if you are, say, an infant, your symptoms are going to indicate something very different than what my symptoms indicate, or they're going to require you to contact a doctor maybe more quickly than an adult, because infants are more sort of vulnerable to more serious symptoms. So just keep that in mind. With that in mind, I'm going to show you how to add a family member as well. You can add, I think, unlimited family members to this, honestly. There's a limited number of little icons, like the Triceratops and the unicorn. So if you have like a lot of people on this, just pay attention. You're going to name each person anyway. So make sure you're getting the right unicorn or the right robot. Let me just show you how to do this part though. So you're going to go up to this gear for the settings. All right. So click on that gear and you're going to see a number of things in here, but the thing that we want to pay attention to is where it says add family member. You see that right there? So manage family members, add family member. Okay, see, and this is where you would add someone else. So again, you would give them, whatever animal they want, enter their name, birthday, gender, and then if you were taking their temperature, it'll ask you whose temperature you're taking if you have more than one person on here. And if it is our shark, then we would say the shark, again, that person would have a name, and you would take their temperature. So that would be their own personal log, okay? On this front page too, you'll see where some of this data is living about the kind of current risk of COVID-19 and flu, okay? Again, New York County for me, because I'm in Manhattan. What it's saying for COVID is high cases. That's actually high moderate. I went in there and looked, but I think high moderate doesn't fit in there very well. If you click on this about this data, they'll tell you how they're measuring that. We do know that there's a new variant of Omicron that's coming around too. But in this case, we see in this data that according to Kinsa, the cases are falling. Flu, you'll see that there's moderate cases and those are remaining stable. So that means, they're sort of leveling out. So this can be good just to keep an eye on how things are going on around you, and to get a sense of what the incidence of COVID-19 or the flu is in your area. Okay. One other thing that I think is really helpful. So if we go back to my timeline, so again, this is my timeline that says, all the different symptoms that I've had over time, all the different, temperatures I've had. If you're in touch with your doctor and you want to relay all this information to them in a really sort of easy way, without having to, tell them, oh, like I had a fever or something yesterday. If you wanted to relay this to them visually, you would go to View or Edit Timeline. And here you'll see, again, the whole of your timeline. Mine only goes back to the 28th because that's when I started doing it. And you see this little 3 dots here. That's kind of universal symbol for share, okay? So what you can do with that is if you have an email address for your doctor, you can say, I want to share my history from the past 7 days. So let's say I'm having a conversation with my doctor and I say, I have not been feeling good for the past 7 days. This is the progression of my symptoms. Can I email this to you? I would go into my Gmail, all right? And then I could email it to that provider, okay? And what that'll do is it'll show them all my symptoms. It'll show them what my temperature was over time, so how quickly it rose or went down, which can be really helpful information for them. And it's an easy way to share it as opposed to trying to remember it all, which is hard. I just want to show you this plus sign on the side here, which shows you some more of what the Kinsa app can do, okay? So I'm going to click on this. So you can take notes, all right? You can take notes about how you're feeling any given day. Add instructions for your doctor. This is where you would say what the medication is. So let's say you're taking ibuprofen. There we go. So I'm not going to say a dose. I'm just going to say, it says optional. So I'm going to say save. All right. So then it shows that I'm taking ibuprofen on my timeline and it says what time. So that's to mark that I've taken a certain medicine. The other thing you can do is you can set up a reminder. And if you want to do that, you're going to go out to this clock right here that's next to your gear. All right, so if you need to take ibuprofen every, 4 hours, or if you have a medicine even that you take regularly on a daily basis that you need to take at the same time, you can set a reminder, okay? So let's say I need to take ibuprofen every day at 1 p.m. Okay. And it's not just for today, so I'm going to say repeat reminder every 24 hours, okay? And day none. So let's just say every day, for whatever reason, I need to take ibuprofen at 1. All right, so I'm going to save that. And once I save that, I'll get a reminder. I'll get like a push notification on my phone that says, remember to take your ibuprofen every day at 2. That can be really helpful if you're taking multiple medications, or if you tend to sort of forget when you need to take a medication, or if it's very time dependent, like you have to take it at the same time every day. I think messing around with it on your own is one of the best ways to sort of figure out everything it does. But that's most of the stuff that you can do with it. And I hope you enjoy using your thermometer. I hope you stay well and don't find yourself having to use this for symptoms very often.